So welcome to the Hendrix Media. This is our very first podcast. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice what we preach, but we're also going to try and provide you with some insights about who we are, what we do, and some tactics and what we've done and how video production can really help your business. So Ben is my business partner in Hendrix Media. So let's first off talk about yourself, Ben, who you are, why'd you start this, why you're in video production, and just tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I was originally kind of always into videos. I was doing a lot of editing of soccer clips as a kid, and I've always had a bit of a passion for it. And then I kind of took off a bit more when I started filming bands back in late 2019, and eventually I got a job working with yourself, Joel, at the Gyms Group, where we created quite a lot of content for the Gyms Group, covering lots of stories, mainly franchisee stories. And we post a lot through all the social media channels. So we've had quite a history together, and we've seen some great results with the Gyms Group.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So if anyone doesn't know the Gyms Group is gyms mowing, gyms cleaning, gyms everything. There's around 50 divisions, and when we say a lot of content, we do mean a lot of content. We're talking 2,000 plus at least videos in the space of around probably 2.5 years or less than that. And we've done a lot of stuff. Now, this is directly from Jim, and he would approve this quote if I said it on his behalf, but he basically said the reason why we grew in the last 2.5 years, the numbers we did, so we went from 3,850 franchisees to 4,700 down the last 2.5 years, and he said the only thing difference that we've been doing is video and social media content. He goes, that was due to our team. So it is a humble brag, and I've got that as an official quote from him as well, but he has said that many times, and the reason why he says that is because the previous 10 years the Gyms Group was stagnant at around 3,800 franchisees, 3,700, and then what we did is back in 2019 we had a really well-known social media company running the Gyms Group brand channel. I'm going, well, who is doing this sort of stuff, and I got really annoyed with it, and I got Jim to start listening to some Gary Vee stuff and things like that, so I could convince him to come and do a lot of things with me. So what would happen then is he would was involved in our video content, because Gary Vee used to always go on about the founder story. If you've got a founder story, you've got a real good point of difference. And the Gym story is fantastic besides the brand, right? And all the stuff that he was saying internally in the office, my idea was, why don't we just capture this live and put it on video? So the very first bit of video content I did with Jim was in, I think, May 2019. And it's basically when Facebook was pushing live and say, do Facebook Live. So I grabbed him. And I think at this age he was 67. And I got him to sit in front of the webcam with me, and we did a Facebook Live, and it's still on YouTube. It's a classic thing. It's a blurry camera. People are asking, what happened to the beard? You're not Jim, all that sort of stuff. But it got a really good reaction, and people are going, we need to do more of this stuff. Jim needs to do more of this stuff. And we're like, cool. So we actually did that every week for around 2 years, and we've done around 150. I think it's 150 Ask Jim live shows.
It's getting pretty close to that, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that, right? So that was just the start of it. And then what happened was Jim listens to a lot of audiobooks. I said, well, listen to this Gary Vee book on social media. So he did. And the stuff that I was telling him prior to that book, he then comes and starts regurgitating that back to me. So he's like, I want you to hire a videographer. I'm like, cool, great. How do I hire a videographer? So before this, because I was running our legal and documents department, because I did a law degree by trade. So I had to go and hire our first hire, which was Jake, who was a videographer. Got him on board, and he goes, I want you to get a video out there every day. It's like, fantastic. No idea what we were doing. No production notes, no nothing. So it was real random at the start. And if you go back to our Instagram and to our YouTube channel, you'll see our very first stuff, and you sort of cringe at it now. But the key to it is that we started it and we got better every day.
That's brings to my philosophy too, is just do it.
That's right.
You'll make mistakes along the way, but if you keep plugging away, like you said, you look back at the past now and you cringe, but you look at where the Gyms Group was, a week ago compared to those 2 years ago.
Well, that's right.
It's been insane.
If we didn't do that, I'm quite confident we wouldn't have cracked the 4,000 mark, because what we're doing with our video content and social media, we'll make them aware that the opportunity will exist, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And then when people were researching what business to buy, they would see all this video content from gyms and nothing from our competitors. And then they're going, well, this company's putting all this stuff for us to trust them out. I'm going to give them a crack and go to them. And when we do the training, so I did the social media and I did do the social media and video content stuff in training. I would say, who here's watched a video or sent us on social media before coming here? And out of a room of 100 people, every single one of them will go that. And they'll go, which video did you watch? Oh, I watched Ask Jim, or I saw you, or I saw the tour, I saw this testimonial, I saw this and that. So we've really used the power of video to help people make the decision for coming to us. And that's what we do with Hendrix Media now, is the same stuff we've done for the Gyms Group, which is the largest franchise in Australia by numbers. We can do it now for any business. Whether it be a small business, whether it be an entrepreneur, large brands and a coach. And our unique sort of style I think is really manageable for most people. You know, I think we're generally good to work with.
Yeah.
We can work with very difficult people because Jim is a very difficult man to work with, as you know, as an entrepreneur. So we pride ourselves on being able to work with a large range of people and get the buy-in and then get the content out there. Then you can see the results.
Yeah, and I think a goal is to be not necessarily, a lot of production companies will be very obtrusive in how they go about it, and there's a lot of planning and a lot of timing, whereas our goal is to be a bit more, free-flowing and easier. We come in and we do our thing, and there's less expectation on, I guess, the client to have to prepare a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's a big key. That's a big point of difference for us is when, proper production companies, and I've seen them come into us to do TV ads and things like that, and either just, let's say, online stuff. And for me personally, it's just so much overkill. And, you might get 1 3-minute video out of it and then no one repurposes it. And if it doesn't hit the mark, well, then you've just wasted $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
So our approach was, our mandate was get a video out every day. So we were just filming and putting content out there. And the great thing with that is we were able to know what worked and what didn't work, and we could get better as well as we went. So if you're a business starting on your content journey, you're going to get better the more you do it. So you just don't want to do it once and then stop. You want to do it consistently at regular intervals. So you might engage a company like us or others, and every 3 months or every 6 months, you get them to come in and shoot a large batch of content. They can then repurpose it, which I'm going to talk about more. And then you can give yourself 6 months of really good video and social media content to help build your brand. So let's just go into a bit more now about why did we start Hendrix? Or in your opinion, why did you want to start Hendrix? Because you've been a freelancer for a while now, and you also work for the Gyms Group with me directly for a while. So
yeah, so obviously Hendrix, like I've been freelancing now for a few months full time, which has been great. But I think Hendrix, I come from a background of music and working with musicians and stuff like that, where I'm very good at that. Whereas I think Hendrix is something new, and I think that's where your strength comes in. You're great with business people and networking, and you're very good at handling those types of people, but also, you know how to like work the room, you know what businesses need. Having that experience with gyms, managing all of the social media, doing all the ads, all that, you've kind of got that experience on what works. So I think we make a great team because you handle that side and I'm really great from the videography side. So you put those two forces together and you've got a really effective strategy going forward for a business.
Exactly, Ben. And that's where we saw a lot of our competitors where they're really good at production, which is fantastic. But like, you might not be right for the business. So if you're a small to medium enterprise and you might not have that money, but you get sold on doing a 10 grand video, that's probably not the best thing for you. What you're probably better off doing is creating maybe a pillar form of content, which is, let's say, a long form podcast or something about your business, and they can get chopped up into, let's say, 30 different social media clips. We then take those clips, we then amplify them with paid advertising on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever you think your audience is. And that's a far better value for a business rather than just spending all this money on what will look like a fantastic production, but they don't get any mileage out of it. So for us, it's about creating video assets for businesses that you can get mileage out of, and that we can then use paid advertising strategies to push it to reach your target audience, right? And I know, and that's how we've done it. Well, that's how we did it with the Gyms Group and Gyms Mowing and stuff like that, and it worked.
How much did the page numbers grow from what we started when I started or when Jake started? How many Facebook likes did you have?
Oh, I think we had like 1,000 or something. We didn't have an Instagram. We didn't have a TikTok or anything like that now. So, our TikTok's at nearly around 35,000 followers, and you get million views on a video and things like that. So, this stuff. But the stuff we do at Gyms Group, or we've done for Gyms Mowing, Gyms Group, and Jim Penman's personal entrepreneur brand, every business can do it. Every business has got a founder, which should have a separate brand, in my opinion. And then every business, no matter what you are, should have some sort of content strategy where you're getting regular content created, whether it be in-house or outsourced to us. And then you push that on your social media channels, because you just got to be there now. Everyone's in that space. You've got to be there now. And that works in conjunction with, your search engine optimization and making sure you've got paid ads and all that sort of stuff. But you need to have video assets for your business to promote yourself. No matter what business you are, you could be a solo lawn mowing business. You could be, a massive plumbing company. You could be a massive brand. And who knows, obviously you need to use video. So that's where I think our point of difference comes in as well, because we've worked with so many different trades backgrounds as well, and obviously corporate as well. We know that, let's say, if a corporate manager or a marketing manager is time poor, we're not going to bog them down with, back and forth and unnecessary meetings, because I've been the chief marketing officer at gyms. I know I get propositioned all the time in regards to do this. I've got no time, so just come with me with a solution. Yep. This is what I want, and go get it done. Whereas if you've got a tradie, for example, or we can definitely come in and talk about what your business needs, what we think you can do, and regularly create content for you quite easily as well. Don't make it intrusive on the workers in the field or your franchisees or whoever it is. And that's another thing I think we pride ourselves on, is we did a lot of stuff out on site with franchise owners, which are a lot of small business owners. So it can be very intrusive for a franchisee or for a small business owner to have a camera there and make them stand and be like a stiff robot and try and talk at it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's, you look at these, corporate videos for like builders and stuff like that. And yes, they look flashy and they look great, but they're not necessarily them in their natural habitat. You can tell that they're just acting for the camera, whereas I think our goal is to try and come in and actually capture them on the job, them doing the job, and it'd be like your favorite word, authentic.
The word that gets thrown around a lot now is you hear this word authenticity. What is authenticity? And for me, it just means being a bit real and showing the reality of your business, right?
Yeah.
Being a business owner is a tough thing. It's not easy. So to have vulnerability and to actually show the downside maybe, or the tough times sometimes in your business. And the way we did that with gyms is we did a Facebook Live for 60 minutes every week, and basically we'd answer every question. So might have an ex-franchisee come on and have a crack at gym. We'd answer it in a live forum.
Yep.
And that just says, all right, well, geez, the CEO has put himself on a live platform, which says authenticity as it is. You won't see a bank CEO putting himself on a live Facebook Live or anything like that. So you're doing that already, plus you're answering the positive with the negative, right? So not everything has to be all flashy, all sales and all that sort of stuff, whatever, because people can now see through and they want a bit more genuine connection. That's why things like doing podcasts, having a founder story, showing a bit something that's not even business related. Like, if you're, let's say, a mobile mechanic, right? You don't just say, I started a mobile mechanics to blah, 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 blah. You might say, I've got a daughter, I've got a young family. We want to be able to provide better for them. Having a business where I actually enjoy what I do, I actually love cars, but I can also then provide a service to the community plus money for my family. that sort of stuff.
Not just business. It's
business.
The human element.
It's the human element. So it's saying a bit more about yourself as well. Whereas, some production companies will just produce this overproduced thing for 3 minutes, which is absolute sales puffery, and everyone knows it is. Whereas you can use a phone, which I'm pointing at right now, I'm recording on, and I'll do a lot of stuff with my phone for TikTok and just go to the founder and go, answer this question, and I'll get 250,000 views.
Yeah.
It's, you don't need to have overproduced stuff. You need to have good strategies. What are people asking? Can I answer questions with videos? All that sort of stuff. So our approach is a little bit different to most companies. And in regards to why I started Hendrix, well, for me, what I think we do, what we've done at gyms is very unique. And I think that we can apply what we've learnt to any other business or any other tradesperson or entrepreneur or personal brand. And it's given some different results. And if you look at the franchising space, compare our content with other franchise brands.
It's miles away.
Miles apart. But if you look at our numbers, other home services franchises during the pandemic didn't grow one bit. They actually went backwards. We increased. Why was that? Because people knew that they could come and buy a franchise, earn good money because they saw that video content constantly, whether in TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We were constantly putting out their content all the time. And that's why we grow. And the other home services brands didn't really, to my knowledge, haven't grown or done anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a point of difference for businesses. But businesses always put on the back burner in creating video content because they allocate their money to other things. Whereas I think if you've got a marketing budget, you need to have elements for video. You have to have money for video.
You need to raise awareness. If people sometimes don't grasp that.
That's right. Or even get training from us or someone to come into your business and actually show you how to shoot video on your phone and get good at it, because it's such a good point of difference over your competitors who aren't doing that. So in regards to starting Hendrix as well, for me, it's a bit about freedom as well.
Sure.
So not just I'm going to go and make money by doing production services, not at all. For me, it's more about, when my mum passed away, I said, so I just want to be happy, right? And for me, being happiness is living life on your own terms and trying to be happy. And, working a corporate job hasn't been for me, or it's not for me anymore, even though I've been there for 10 years and I love it. What frustrates me though is it's not building my own thing. So building with Hendrix, with yourself, this is our thing. We want to build our own asset. We want to then help that asset create more money and more revenue for other businesses using what we've done, and just having that freedom for us that we're not building someone else's dream, which we've done really well the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It's building our own, and that's what Hendrix really is.
Just flexibility to go and, pivot and do different directions and whatever, where the journey takes us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pardon me, where the journey takes us.
Now, let's talk about our approach to franchising content. So I post a bit on LinkedIn, and I'm a bit controversial with franchising content. A lot of franchisors and master franchisees rely on info packs to get sales across the line, or their franchise testimonials are so overproduced. They're either reading off a teleprompter or it's a 3-minute puff piece where there's no authenticity. It doesn't show what a real day in the life of the franchisees. And our best franchise content video probably flies in the face of any belief, but it's probably been the best one.
It's just raw.
Was when we did that day in the road with a franchisee in 2019 called Matt Thorpe, and it goes for 1 hour on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's going, who's going to watch 1 hour on YouTube? Well, we know for a fact it's got an average watch time of around 20 minutes per person. It's got around 23,000 views.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that I've had probably 25 to 30 people who came into training said, we watched the full day in the road, and that's what made us come into the business. So it's been responsible for 30 franchise sales, average franchise sales around 20 grand. Do the math.
It's not always about the views either.
No.
You know, like you said, you always used to comment on Ask Jim and those types of things, you know. Even if the viewers aren't always high, if you make 1 or 2 sales from that video, it's worth its weight in gold.
That's right. And it's not about, if views is a vanity metric, what we're worried about is, you know, who was buying franchises based on that. So now we knew that for a fact from asking people in training and all that sort of stuff, what made them sign. And the reason why they love that video so much was it was 1 hour from 8 hours condensed into 1 hour. But we left a lot of bad stuff in there. I'm not saying...
no BS.
No BS. So the franchisee was fantastic. He would say the good and the bad about it, and we kept that in. Whereas most brands would go, all bad stuff's out, it's too negative, and too negative. And it's just like, that's not real. Being a business owner, it's not
sunshine and rainbows. Yeah.
It's like a wave, right?
Yeah.
So in that video, we try and capture the wave, and the franchisee did that for us, and that authenticity goes a long way. And that's why we're at this level with numbers, and other brands are at this level, is because of that differentiation in our franchising content. Yeah. And I would just love to see more franchise brands try and do that. And, you know, I think one of the prohibited things is that the head office get involved too much, and the marketing managers go, we can't have saying this about this. It's got to be so controlled, where it's the completely wrong approach. And growth numbers reflect that. So hopefully, marketing managers, if you're watching, look at our stuff and maybe give us a go. Now, what was it like working with Jim? So Jim is a real person. Worked for him for probably more than 10, 11 years now. So what was it like working for Jim?
He's an interesting character. He's you know, he likes what he likes, and he enjoys what he does, and he loves business. But sometimes, you know, working on set with him, he only has limited patience.
It's hard to work with on set. It's definitely the hardest. Not the easiest person.
I think he definitely got a bit easier towards the end, but it required us to work rather quick sometimes. And you know, if that was the only take you're going to get, that's the only take you're going to get. So I think it's just about being prepared and having to respond to people with, I guess, somewhat short temperament sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you're being very nice, but what we were saying at the start, that we've worked with some difficult people, and we were probably meaning more Jim, but Jim's a very busy man. He doesn't have time for much guff, and it's generally one take, no auto prompter. I asked the question from behind it, bang. But as you've gone to the last 2.5 years, you can see, because he's done a lot of TV media, he's definitely gotten a lot better.
He's opened up a lot.
But it's also helped in the confidence in regarding for him meeting other people, you know, his franchisees and stuff at training. So a big part of doing video content, it's not only just doing content to promote your business, it builds confidence. It builds obviously good public speaking skills and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but we were sort of lucky with him because he's a bit of a character, and he's the stuff that
I think just because he's a household name, definitely helped us there. So
it did help us there. But the thing is, people didn't know much about him before 2019, before we did it.
No, he's just the face.
Just the face, and everyone thought I was just a made up corporate entity. But now in the last 2.5 years, we've actually been able to put a face to it. We get a heck of a lot of TV opportunities via the content we do. Yeah. And that's because you just got to put yourself out there. And a lot of business owners and founders should have their own personal brand, but they don't, whether it be the time or they don't believe in it or whatever. But your personal brand is something that will follow you around everywhere, no matter what company you do or whatever you do. So Jim's sort of got a personal brand now, which I'm sort of proud of. It's it's sort of controversial with obviously what happens with the court cases and all that sort of stuff, but people know he exists, and that's the main thing. And you're not boring.
You don't hear that question every day anymore.
No, you're polarizing, but the main thing about Jim, that his main saying is, how can I do things better every day, right? So how can we do things better every day? What went wrong with that? And just compartmentalize things and move on and let's get better. Yeah. Which is the main thing. But also the trust in people to do the job. So we're sort of very lucky in a way, because I guarantee if it was another company corporate, imagine trying to get some of the stuff we did via a board or via another CEO. It might
we
be
were
very
very fortunate with Jim. There was he was happy for you to just give the green light, go ahead, and if it wasn't working, we review afterwards.
That's right. But it's paid off in the end as well, and that's reflective in the franchisee numbers. So let's talk about the type of content that we can create, or that we think businesses should look at creating. So we're doing one right now, which is a podcast. Now, I mentioned this term before, which is pillar content, right? So if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, pillar content is a long form piece of content like this, whether it be an hour or 40 minutes or whatever. And then out of that pillar content, which you can upload as a podcast, video podcast, whatever you want to do, you can then take clips out of it. So if you want to call it micro clips or whatever, you can take micro clips out of it, which might be a minute or less for TikTok, for Reels. You might want to take 3-minute clips out of it, which can be then used for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And then out of that, you can get it transcribed, make it into a blog on a website. And you can also pick quotes out for graphics on Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. So, and it's an easy way to create content because you might only need an hour of your time, but you might be able to get 30 clips or 30 pieces of content or more.
30 nuggets.
30 nuggets of gold out of that one piece of pillar content, right? So you might want to do, if you're a brand, you might want to do, let's say, 4 podcasts that go for an hour or whatever it is. You might want to do that every 6 months or whatever. And you've got your content library for 6 months, depending on how creative you are and how you do it. And it's a very low cost solution as well. So that's one bit of that's one piece of content, Ben. But that pillar content doesn't just have to be a podcast as well. What we found we did vlog style, day on the road type of stuff with franchisees where we'd follow them around. Those
work great for franchise inquiries and business inquiries.
They do, because if you're interested in buying, let's say, a fencing business or a fencing franchise, you're going to invest a bit more time actually watching the video content.
Yeah.
If you're just someone who's not interested in buying a fencing franchise, you're going to skip over it. But if you're actually going, I want to buy a fencing franchise, you will watch an hour of a day on the road with a fencing franchisee, and then watching an hour of that Jim's fencing video. That puts it into their brain, right? I'm not going to go anywhere else. Or if they don't like what they see, they won't come, but that's fine. But the people who watch that video know what to expect. It's a better inquiry as well.
Yeah, they're more informed.
Exactly.
So,
and the same thing with that is, out of that hour-long piece, which is condensed in, let's say, 3 days.
It's another form of pillar
content. So then you can create clips for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all that sort of stuff.
We also did lots of testimonials from franchisees. Yep. So lots of, I guess, shorter, condensed versions of days on the road, but we'd talk to them about their experience in gyms and create nice, concise pieces that obviously help sell franchises, but could be applied in other senses too.
Yeah, well, video customer testimonials, every business could use one of them, but the key to a video testimonial, I think, is the one where you're staring straight down the camera like this and saying, oh, how good Johnny was. It just doesn't work.
No.
So what we found that works better is you obviously got to make a bit of small talk with the person first, and if hopefully you've got a good relationship with him, and then you would shoot, one from the side and then one from the front, but you try and stand off camera a bit to talk to them so they're not intimidated.
Yeah, just conversational pieces. If you try and get them to, if you try to put words into their mouth, they freeze up, and again, it's not authentic. But if you just have a discussion with them, that's the key to selling, I think.
That's right. And what we would do is we'd obviously all the questions we're going to ask them before we turn the camera on, I'm already asking them. So they've already said it to me once, and then we just turn the camera on, and hopefully they don't get too freaked out about it. Some people are good; they can actually look down the barrel, fantastic salespeople, and just go first shot.
Yeah.
Whereas some people are really nervous, you would then make sure you're chatting to them, turn the camera on, have those 2 angles, and hopefully they don't freak out too much, which they don't. And then there's a really good testimony. But customer testimonials, we've done a lot of those. Our first ones were pretty much just standing in front of the camera and doing it. But then as we got better, we put a lot of B-roll in it, put the family connection in it.
Yeah. Great
music, all that sort of stuff like that.
I think, there's quite a few good ones there towards the end. That John Wild's piece was quite nice. I like the, what else was the fencing one we did too.
The fencing one was really good.
One was quite good.
Because he talked about his family, and you can see the why he does the business. It's not just, I make great money and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It was a really good story piece. And a lot of franchise brands, I feel, they don't have enough testimonials, but when they do, they're really stilted and stale. Yeah. You got to make people feel something. So that's why most business owners have a family, and family is a great thing to talk about in relation to your business, because everyone can relate to it. It's an emotional connection. Yeah. And you're telling a bit of a story. So what other video pieces of content have we created, or did we create?
Well, obviously we did lots of live streaming content with the Ask Gyms. So, live Q&A sessions. We did quite a few green screen videos.
And we were doing live streams before live streams were the thing with COVID, obviously. So
yes.
We did a lot of live streams, and that was basically live stream show where you might have a panel of people, or just be myself and Jim talking about it. The live video is fantastic as well, because then you're creating pillar content again, because that live recording, you can obviously record it, you can take that, and then you can clip it up as well. And it's a really good way to build customer relationships, because if you're going live on your page and someone can get a question answered for you in real time, it just hooks them in. And we knew that when we did it regularly, that we'd have the same people tuning in every week asking different questions, but new people go, oh, jump on Ask Jim and actually ask him a question. Oh, really? I can talk to the Jim? Yeah. And then you answer that question straight away and you got a fan for life.
Yeah.
And we had so many people become franchisees from watching 10 of those, because they were doing like a 10-hour discovery period on the brand. Yeah. And they could have the CEO.
Felt like there was a connection there.
Correct.
Already.
Felt like there was a connection. And every single business can do this, right? Whether you're a mechanic, whether you're a cosmetics brand, whatever it is. Live video is very powerful. Obviously now with COVID, we've gotten a bit more used to it, but it's still very underutilized by a lot of brands, just because I think they're scared that they might say the wrong thing. But I think if you say the wrong thing sometimes, or it's not always positive, that's a good thing for it.
Yeah.
Because people can see through the BS.
Yeah. Yeah. Authenticity again.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you an example, right? So when AMP was getting in trouble for all that dodgy stuff with Super, I was an AMP customer back in that, and I sent out a video from the CEO in a suit, just executive guy, 3 minutes stilted, really well prepared. BS script, right? And I just think, you know what you should do? Jump on a Facebook Live or jump on a YouTube Live or LinkedIn Live, whatever it is.
Actually talk to the people.
Have an hour where you're going to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
But you're going to get people go, at least he had the guts.
Yeah.
To use live video and to put himself on the line a bit, whereas you're sending a 3-minute pre-prepared scripted video to people basically just not saying anything, right?
Yeah, written by the PR team too.
Written by the PR team. So this is what any business can do. So using live video doesn't just have to be on a camera setup like we can do, be on your phone, all that sort of stuff. So what else do we create? What else can we create?
We did quite a bit of event stuff. Obviously, we did the trade day recently.
Yeah, well, the trade day video you did was awesome. Yeah. So you can definitely check that out on our showreel.
You were the showrunner, which was...
Showrunner, yes. Dealing with Nathan Templeton from 7 and Jason Hodgson from Better Homes and Gardens. But event coverage, yeah. So any event that you have, it's really great ways. Again, if you're going to have an event, you might as well have it filmed.
Yeah.
And then you can really use that to then sell.
Repurpose it and sell the next year or whenever the next event is.
Exactly right.
A great marketing piece of material.
And it doesn't just have to be a 3-minute piece. You might want to do interviews there. You might do 10 interviews. You've got some great stuff there. Interviews with suppliers.
You can do so much.
Backstage stuff. All these sorts of things. You can really maximize it. What else is there? What else type of content can we create? I'll put you on the spot, haven't I?
Yeah, put me on the spot. What's in your mind? We can cut this.
Well, let's say brand profile pieces.
Similar to the testimonial videos, we can also do brand profile pieces. So kind of understanding the story of the brand, the history of the brand, and again, humanizing the brand and the origins of it.
And how you maximize it as well. So brand pieces is, let's say if you've got a video on your website, you need it to be really good, right? Because if you're getting a large amount of traffic to your website, that first video they're going to come across as the first impression of your brand. It's really vital, okay? So I know with the websites we do, we obviously have a lot of video integrated with them, but a brand profile piece is essential. If you really want to start with video, that's where you want to probably start. Now in brand profile pieces, as you said, it can be anything. A bit of interviews with the founder, workers there, maybe some testimonials, behind the scenes, explain the benefits of using your product and service, all that sort of stuff.
Again, it's just putting a face to a brand that may have been nameless before. So if that's the first thing you see, you feel like you've made a connection with that person. You already, like if you go to inquire, you know who you're going to be speaking with, you know like their values and what they stand for. Whereas if it's just a big corporation or a nameless brand, it could be anyone, and that doesn't really...
Well, it's a great point, Brent.
It's not effective.
It's a great point, Brent. You almost want them to know... Yeah, you want them to know who you are before actually even inquiring with you, right? So they feel connected with you and they feel... they feel more engaged. They feel they're going to get a better service, better job done, because they actually see the real owners of the business, the people in the business. I can trust. All right, I can see what it's going to do for me, and let's give them a go and let's inquire with them. So that's really important to do that, and we know from a fact that works because, as I said earlier on when we do the training, who here's seen a Jim's video before coming to making a decision about buying a franchise?
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah,
because you're going to spend 30 to 40 grand. You're going to research the brand, right?
100%. And so if you're engaging a business and you're going to be spending a large money with that business, you want to know a bit about them. You want to know that you can trust them.
But even it doesn't have to be a large amount of money, like 30 grand. It could be less money. So if you're going to invest in a coaching program for 10 grand or for 5 grand or whatever, you want to make sure that the person you're spending the money with is going to give you good value. And the way you give them good value is you just put up front online some valuable content, a bit about your brand, that sort of stuff, so they can trust you and then hopefully engage with you and spend the money.
So obviously we've covered a lot here, but how do you think that we can make chief marketing officers and marketing managers' lives easier?
Well, I think we can make it easy because I've been one.
Yeah.
So I've been one for the largest franchise in Australia, Gyms Group, and you would know if you're in that position, you're getting things all the time, you're left, right and centre, and you've got to pick your initiatives which are going to hit the mark, and depending on your budget, we didn't have pretty much any budget really.
No.
So, but also as well, your time poor. So the thing with us is, I wanted someone to come to me with the solution, or if I want to go to a business, all right, here's what I want, give me what you're going to do in one go.
You want an end-to-end solution.
Yeah.
So no back and forth.
No,
you want it to be seamless.
Exactly right. No back and forth. Give me what you want. Here's some examples of what we can do in one go. All right, let's do it. Bang, away we go. So the less interaction, but to get what I need, the better. All right. And I know from dealing with a lot of businesses, you'd say, oh yeah, I'll get this, and then they have to come back to you 3 or 4 times. Yeah. So I understand that pain point from marketing managers' life. So we try and do it where, might be one initial conversation or, can you do this, blah, 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 blah. We give you all the options and you can take that information and then we can be engaged from there and away we go. Yeah. We're not going to be over cumbersome as well. And I think as well for us, even though this might sound sad as a business owner saying this, but I'm not, because we're a newish company, we want to do anything and everything and make sure we deliver best results, because that's how we're going to build word of mouth and things like that. So we're not going to start at the real highest price point. I know I shouldn't be saying that, but we're not going to be the $10,000 for a 3-minute video or a 2-minute video. And I don't think it needs to be that much anyway to be effective with your marketing communications with video. So from a cost point of view, I think we're definitely an affordable option as well.
And yeah, as I was saying before, you don't want to be too intrusive, You kind of just want to be able to get in and capture what you need without, obstructing the business from actually performing what they need to do.
Yeah, well, I know it's firsthand because we had a video team come out, do something from Amazon for gym, and they wanted to use an external video team, no problem. And there was like 5 people and it was things everywhere, and it was for a 10-minute podcast, right? And I did podcasts with Jim all the time. I just sat in a room and we could get tens of thousands. One of those videos had 100,000 plus views just from a clip we did, and it was a really simple setup. Whereas they're coming in with big lights and all that sort of stuff and making my life that day a complete write-off for a 10-minute interview, which could have been achieved with a lot less. And they've probably charged Amazon, being Amazon, thousands of dollars. And it was bloody good. Like, it looked great. Yeah. But in regards, as I said, how was it maximised afterwards? Was it clipped up? Was it pushed in different areas? Was it made into a blog? All that sort of stuff. So I think we have a really logical approach that can help them. And
that approach that we would utilise really assists small businesses a lot more.
Yeah, but to sell small businesses, like we want to work with, obviously, we can do stuff with bigger brands as well. But we need to do a bit more scripting and stuff like that. But for small to medium businesses, I think it's a very attractive option as well. Yeah. Now let's talk about the idea of not over scripting and not over producing to get results. Now, you got to define what results is first. If you think you're going to put a video out there and it's going to generate you 1,000 sales, it might. But you've got to also understand, well, what do you want to get out of the video, right? So I see it as planting a seed. So the video you put on YouTube, if it's a brand profile piece, that thing's going to be there for forever.
Quite some time.
And you're going to get some return, hopefully, or some awareness 3-4 years down the track from that video, depending on how it goes, right? And we know that from gyms, whereas videos we've uploaded 3 years ago, they're up to 20,000 or maybe 15,000 views, and people are watching them and inquiring from a 3-year-old video. Yeah. So it seems to be like planting the seed, but
just got to let it grow slowly over time.
Yeah. And I think over scripting stuff is a big problem. I know that we watch stuff now, like you want to see, is it a genuine video?
You just see videos where people are just reading off the auto cue.
Teleprompters don't use them.
And it's like, auto cue serves its purpose for the nightly news or whatever, but if you're telling your own story, I don't need you to read off an auto prompter. I want you to just have a conversation with me and tell me about you. Even if it's not, the cleanest, form of communication, it's the most genuine and authentic. And I'd rather listen to that than listen to some robot.
Yeah, it does sound very robotic. There are some people who can read off a teleprompter, fantastic. And there's a lot less of those than people who can't, right?
There's a few old clips of you on an auto prompter, mate.
Yeah, and I hate it. I look back on it now. I've done a few hosting things, and your teleprompter, it's the worst ever. Whereas if I get asked a question, you might want to film it 10 times and we'll get the one take that we need. Fantastic.
But
that's what we need.
It's stiff, and you can tell people are sometimes just uncomfortable with it.
Absolutely,
the conversation, everyone's relaxed and they're affable and friendly, And that's way more engaging, and you can see that on the screen.
And I understand with corporate, they want to get maybe their messaging right and stuff like
Sure.
that, but you can have your points on the messaging on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and you can shoot it multiple times until the right one is done.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with that one, and then away we go. It's going to come off far more better
Yeah.
than just having a teleprompter and reading just a boring script, and it just looks like a robot's talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a place for it though. Absolutely. If there's maybe some training videos or things like that, and that's fine. And we have that set up where you can do a teleprompter and things like that. But if you can do your video content without a teleprompter, I think it just comes off a lot better and makes it easier for the person doing the video as well. I think most people are generally better.
Well, it's just a quicker process, you know, because if you do a teleprompter, like I said, people freeze up.
It's very hard to get it looking good.
It's hard to get it looking good, and you'll end up going through about 20 takes each time. So, you know, you're not really maximizing what you're spending your money on, because you're going to have to take 10 takes and you're going to only get that one take, and you probably spent like 4 hours filming for like however many minutes of content. Whereas if you just have a conversation, you could get that done in, you know, a quarter of that time, and then you could be out, you know, filming other content for them. So it's just maximizing their investment.
Yeah, that's why we're massive on talking head stuff. So we're doing a podcast now, but I think sitting down a business owner or people in the business and interviewing them, and then basically taking what they're saying, you know, if there's some really cool stuff there, what they're saying, you can take their voice, obviously put some B-roll, whatever you want to do. So the talking head stuff I think is really good to work in conjunction with other B-roll shots and things like that for brands. But saying that, if you are a corporate and you do have a script, we can do that still as well. But I just think, you know, if you have an outline of what you want to get across, it just makes it far better. Now, obviously script for TV commercials. So if you're doing a TV commercial, there is going to be a script, but it's going to cost a hell of a lot more money.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be massive production, hell of a lot more money. And then your TV ad, you know, it's going to be very hard sometimes to measure the effectiveness of it. Where if you could create some, let's say your own, lesser overproduced commercials, which you can then pump out on social media for brand awareness and things like that.
It's the most cost-effective way of marketing at the moment anyway.
Well, it is. Social media is.
Engaging with social media marketing over television advertising.
Yeah, they are.
Make it more focused.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
why television's become a lot more cheaper now. It's become a lot, I know we get offers all the time, so it's a lot more cheaper now to do TV than what it was. But the power of social media, you know, whether you like it or not, it's just one of the cheapest places to get awareness and get attention for your brand. I can put a video into your newsfeed if you're who I'm targeting for really, really cheap, and hopefully you watch it. If you don't, whatever. But I can do it for really, really cheap. And, you know, people want to do the well-produced TV ad, and that's fine. But you've got this massive amount of people on social media who are addicted to these devices. Around 2 hours a day is the average time people spend in social media. And different platforms, Instagram might be 40 minutes, Facebook might be this, and then TikTok might be this. But you've got to have a presence in them, and you can reach a lot of people in those areas for not overly much money.
I don't know about you, Joel, but all the ads I get seem to be stuff I'm really interested in. So.
Well, it's when you engage with something, that's how the algorithm works. When you engage with something, make sure you like it, because then you're probably going to get served more with that. So for me, I watch a lot of business content and entrepreneur content and make sure that I like the video so that the algorithm serves me more of that stuff, right? But that's how it works. But if you're a business and you've got a great opportunity to create some little pieces of video content, then boost them and amplify them with Facebook ads, Instagram, LinkedIn, big underutilized area as well by most businesses and B2B as well. So LinkedIn as well. A big advantage with us, Ben, is obviously there's a large amount of production companies in Melbourne and they're really, really good. But the thing is they use a lot of freelancers. So the person who might do the sale for you is a salesperson, and then they get a bunch of freelancers on and you don't know who you're dealing with until the day.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, the people you're seeing in this video, this face here and that face there,
you'll be dealing with us.
You're dealing with us because we are a new business and you're dealing directly with us. So we'll be the one on set. We'll be the one talking with what you want. We'll be the one delivering the results and helping you without whatever else you need. So the people that you're seeing in this, we're the people doing your work. We won't be nothing gets outsourced to other companies. But there's nothing wrong with that because that's how that works. But, you know, maybe
small
one day.
Small but efficient team.
Small but efficient team, and hopefully we can grow the business.
How over the past 2 or 3 years at gyms, how have you what's formulated how you create content? What's given you the ideas on creating your content?
Well, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you look him up, but this goes general for any business. You got to look what's going on in your field. So with us, basically, we just searched, franchising, #franchising videos, and I saw what was being done, and I thought it was all stock standard. So what we did is we took stuff that was being done by sports teams, like AFL teams, and another, let's say, entrepreneurs, and then apply that to the franchising game. So a great example of this is there's a soccer AM program in England, and they go Google the 10 most popular things on themselves, and they get maybe the coach Jurgen Klopp, and they do a video. So I saw that 2 years ago, so let's do it with Jim. Yeah. So Jim, let's do the top 10 Google searches on Jim. Right, it's got really nothing related to the business, and it's not trying to sell you anything, but it's trying to something different to create engaging content. Hopefully it goes a bit viral, and then it builds that personal brand. And it's awareness on Jim as well. So, but it's something different, right? And people like that
something
video.
Fun. Doesn't always have to be salesy.
No, but we took that from the sporting field. So I take a lot of stuff from AFL teams, from the digital media stuff, and we applied it to gyms.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to take it from your industry and what people are doing. Look outside your industry. Yeah. If there's stuff that actually you watch on a regular basis, like what style of content is it? A podcast? Is it a video podcast? Is there some behind the scenes stuff from something completely unrelated? Can you apply that to your own business?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And, creating content, think about, what are your friends laughing about? What do you talk about at work? What do people want to see? What do you want to see? And sometimes it's great to kind of use that in your own content too. Yeah. Instead of just creating a video where it's all salesy, make stuff that's fun, and then people will maybe follow the page just because you're doing fun stuff, and then later down the line they'll engage your services.
Absolutely,
because you're in their face.
Exactly right, and you're putting that another touch point of your brand in their head. So they might have seen something that's not directly related to why you should buy or use their services. Could have been something completely unrelated, like a funny video. Yet that you remember that funny video. The next time you go to Google or whatever, you'll search that brand directly because you remember that. So it doesn't have to be always serious. It can be funny, unique stuff. And the way you get those ideas from that is from stuff that you personally watch, or maybe you've seen something that's interesting from a completely unrelated field, and then apply that to your business. So that's where we got a lot of our ideas from. It's not from franchising, because I think the franchising content stuff, especially in Australia, is very stale. So what we did is we took the Gary Vee approach for Jim, which was basically vlog style, live streams,
off the cuff.
reels, all that sort of stuff, and filmed him doing the training and took that and make it into clips as well. And then the other stuff we did, we took a lot of stuff from sports teams, from other TV shows which are a bit more funnier, and tried to make it into our franchising stuff, and the results speak for themselves. If you look where the brand is now compared to what they were. Now, any business can do this, as you said, but people then go, well, I want to make stuff that my audience wants to see. Well, then you got to try and work out through trial and error almost what they actually want to see. You need to create stuff to know what actually works and what doesn't. Yeah. You can then do a hypothesis about plan this thing. It's going to be this. It's going to be this, and you spend all this time on one video and it flops. Yeah. You've wasted all this time. So you're better off just trying a lot of different things. You might want to try a couple of podcasts, maybe a vlog style for if you're a trade business. You then might want to do some quick tips on the phone. What works for you? What's easiest for you? And what gets you the results that you think are going to help push your business forward. So looking outside your industry is important. You can do research in your industry online just by searching the hashtag in the industry. Like if you're a let's say a life coach, you can do hashtag life coach. You'll see a lot of content in that space for inspiration as well. And then you can copy stuff as well and tweak it. There's nothing wrong with copying stuff as well that's in your industry and being done by others, and by tweaking it a little bit.
That's what,
Still like an artist.
Is. That's what art is.
There's a book called Still Like an Artist. Exactly right.
You don't always have to reappropriating things and putting your own little spin on them.
But I like going, but for any business, no matter what you are, or even as a coach or whatever, I like going outside the norm, because obviously there's a lot of content online. So how can you go outside of the norm? And I think going to other industries or to sports to see what their digital media departments are doing, because they're always in the cutting edge. Outside your bubble is a really good way to do it. And you try those things, and if it works, you just keep doing more and more of it as well. And that's what other people should do. So if you're going to do a large variety of content and this thing works, well, then you got to double down. Yeah. Double down until it doesn't keep working. All right? Yeah. That's why I asked Jim keeps going, because it works and we keep doing it. So up to 150 hours of that one. But you double down and you keep doing it until it stops working as well.
You were talking about pillar content before, about creating one long form of content and then obviously repurposing it for however long you can possibly, get as much mileage out of it as you can. How many pieces of content do you think you can get from that long piece?
Oh, it all depends. Like, some people might say you can do 100 or what. It depends on what nuggets of gold are in that piece. But saying that, it also depends on the platform. So if like Instagram Reels, obviously you can load up to 60 seconds, but most Reels that do best are under 15 seconds. So if you've got an hour-long piece and you can know that 15 seconds or less for Reels is the ideal length, how many 15-second pieces can you get out of an hour piece of content? Yeah. You can get a lot. right? You can get more than 100 if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you're going to do. You can probably get, I reckon, out of any hour-long piece of thing, you can get 40 pieces of content. It's not going to say that they're all going to be great and engaging, but you only need 1 or 2 to go viral.
Yeah.
So you only need one of those to go do really well and then get 500,000 plays. Like we've done it with some video content with gyms. They get one, you might want to put out 20 pieces and you hope that they all do well. But the reality is some won't, but one hopefully will, and that gets 500,000 views.
Yeah.
And then your profile grows by all these numbers.
Yeah.
So you've got the good thing about doing pillar content and then what we call micro content is you're giving yourself more chances to succeed in the awareness space where hopefully...
Being persistent and consistent.
Being persistent and consistent, but obviously giving yourself a better chance to have that clip of content go viral. And you can give yourself better chances for it to go viral by creating, obviously, hopefully better stuff and making sure you get an engaging clip. But you've got to do it and put it out there to then see what works. And then hopefully the more chances you put into it with content, hopefully you get that viral piece because you only need one. One viral piece of content can get to 3 million, 2 million views, and it can completely change your profile and grow your Instagram page or whatever it is, or YouTube Shorts or TikTok, whatever it is. You only need one piece of content.
And more likes on your pages, more chances of... inquiries and whatnot.
Yeah,
whatever you're trying to sell.
But we've got a pool care guy, a pool care influencer now who we said let's do TikTok, and he did TikTok. He's got 150,000 followers on TikTok, and this is a guy who's a pool care franchise owner, and he smashes it. Yeah. He's got a massive business, and he one of his videos got 26 million views on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it was basically just a GoPro on the end of a pole, and he was going down and scrubbing it, but it was on trend, and he used it, and for whatever reason, people love that thing. Got like 2.6 million likes, 26 million views.
Yeah, and I bet you he's got quite a few business inquiries.
He has, but if you look, but it's a reflection of his business. Generally, most of the time, regardless of the business, if the business has a pretty strong social media presence and profile, it's generally a good business. They're not wanting for money, so it's generally a reflection. If you've got your social channels and your regular content posting in order, it's generally a good sign that the business is just doing well anyway. Yeah. So you've really got to invest in that sort of channel of marketing for your social media and your video, because I haven't seen a business fail or not do well who doesn't have a good video and social media channels and presence. And this pool care franchisee is an absolute gun. 150 started a TikTok account probably 2 years ago when it first came out and was just consistent. Didn't use social media much before. Yeah. But gave this a crack and learnt. And I think he's a retired cop, Jason. Yeah. And a retired cop who's a pool care franchisee. He's got 150,000 followers on TikTok. And he's got, like 10 million likes, whatever. And one video's got 26 million bloody plays. Yeah. Where else can you do that for free? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's just having a crack. So that's why any business can do this, whether it be pool care, mowing, fencing, cosmetic coach, beauty, but whatever you are, any business can do this, but you've just got to be willing to have a go. And if you don't want to do it yourself, that's where we can come in. We can help you create those video assets to then put into those areas to give you a chance to be found. It's
definitely a key area to be found. In myself, like with my own business, I can't say that I've put in a whole lot of effort into it, but I try and post once or twice a week, work that I've done, and I've had quite a few people come directly from just watching my videos on Instagram, and that's with zero effort. So think about how much you could do as a business if you're actually putting in lots of time and effort into your social media presence and, putting all this micro content, pillar content, all of that out there. Because if you're in people's site, then, they're going to be thinking about you all the time.
Yeah, you've got to have stuff on the online space. If you don't, your competitors are, and they'll be found before you. So you've just got to be in that space, and you've got to put time and effort into creating the video assets to then put in that space. And another good way you can create content is what we were doing a while before, is you can take your comments or your negative comments and then create videos based on that as well. And you can have hundreds of ideas as well. So
debunk
a lot of stuff, but you can take your contents or the common questions you're getting from customers and create all your video content around that. So if you're getting the same 10 questions from a customer, why not create 10 videos answering that question? Because that people are wondering about that question. Put it online, and then hopefully you can answer that question. Oh, cool! I didn't know that. Bang! I'll come and use that person. What we do is, if we have any negative comment, I actually keep a spreadsheet of them. I put all the negative comments in the video, and then I will. This is what I did with Jim. I would get Jim, because a lot of misinformation about the business, saying, "Oh, you take 20% fees and all that sort of stuff. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme and stuff." So basically, the video we did is Jim's a pyramid scheme. then he will answer the question. And people go, oh, cool, he's answering the question. I'm going to ask more questions and engage with it. And then also I can actually correct misinformation about the franchising system just by using that negative comment and creating a video about it. And one of the best ones we did is about fees. There's a lot of misconceptions with fees with franchising in general. And our fees, if you're wondering what Jim's fees were, they're around 6% generally off the average turnover, which is very low in franchising. But people used to go, oh, my mate had a franchise and he got charged 20% royalties and 25%, which is a complete lie.
Yeah.
So then what we do is we're like, Jim, answer this question about fees, lots of misconceptions with the phone. And then he would answer the question because he's a good speaker with the stuff. And that thing got like 250,000 views.
Yeah.
So it's 250,000 people who have seen this video with us correcting misinformation about the franchise. And that's cost nothing. All it's cost me is basically being a bit creative and thinking of it. But doing the phone video, putting it to our TikTok account and to the IG Reels, and then letting it do its thing.
Yeah.
And then because we know that people are engaging with the fee stuff, we then go, right, cool, it's money. So people like, to learn about money. So then we ask more questions like, well, how much can you earn as a franchise?
Yeah.
How much do franchisees pay after fees? So then we start talking about that, and that might get 50,000, that might get 40,000 views, right? And then what we're doing is someone who might engage with that video is going to see the next one, hopefully, with the algorithm, because they've said, oh, I've liked this video and watched it through. I'm going to chuck another Jim's video into their feed. Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm going to inquire about being a franchisee. I didn't know you can make that much money a year doing it.
And that's why I think, we were so successful with Jim's is that you've been so great at identifying what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, but it's more of a trial and error too, Ben. And also being the trust to do it. So, business owners, it might be new to them and they might go, I don't use social media, and that's a common thing that I've heard. But you've got to just look at the data and look at the space now. And most people with social media accounts, the average person's spending probably, I think it's a couple of hours a day from a Hootsuite survey in social media. And that's from the ages of 16 to 65. During the pandemic, you found a lot more older people getting on social media because they had a bit more time. Yep. So, everyone's playing in this space and you've just got to play in it. And then...
There's no point putting your head in the sand. If you say, I don't do social media, why are you, pretty much restricting your business from like this whole other side of opportunities? Sure, you might have great, marketing on like TV or like in the paper or, word of mouth, but you're pretty much just shutting off from like maximizing your business success potential.
That's right. There's such the key, what you said is the key, it's an opportunity, and everyone goes, they know it's an opportunity and we need to be on social media, but they try it once and maybe it doesn't deliver the results and go, oh, that doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've heard that, and that's just not true. The data shows it's not true.
It's a persistent thing. You can't, it's like anything you do. The first time you do it, you're probably not going to be very good at it. You're probably not going to, it's like guitar. The first time you pick it up, you're not going to know how to play it. You got to practice daily, weekly. You got to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And if you do it consistently over a period of time, you do it, say if you started today and you posted 3 times a week and you go do that for 12 months and then you look at your profile on that 12-month day compared to day one,
Yeah, you've got a lot of businesses, and I understand because if you're a business owner, you want to spend money and get a return on investment, right? So if I'm going to spend $5,000 on a content pack or whatever it is, I want to get more than $5,000 back. So you've got to be able to measure that as well.
Yeah.
But you've also got to understand you're building a brand, or you're trying to create more awareness for your brand as well.
Yeah.
So how do you judge that? So, for us, the way we judge that is obviously in our franchise inquiry numbers and now unserviced leads. So unserviced leads have been going up every year, especially the last 2 years, because people are seeing us more, trying to book us. And then our franchise numbers have gone by nearly net
skyrocketed
900 to 850, whereas they were stagnant for the previous 10 years. So that's our metric we judge it. So you've got to work out for your brand or your business or your coaching practice or whatever you're doing. All right, I'm going to do all this content, but then what am I judging as the ROI? Am I expecting it to get me sales? Well, then you're going to create a specific piece of content for sales, and then you're going to make sure you're using the right paid advertising strategies to then try and generate leads.
You've got to understand what the goal of the video is before just saying you want a video.
Correct.
What are we trying to achieve, and how are we going to measure success?
Absolutely. But you might just want to do more awareness. So if you've got a business and you're going to go, I want more people to know about me, well, then you might go, right, let's create more short-form content and put it into Instagram Reels or TikTok where it's got a chance of going viral and creating all this awareness for me if we create the right video. So you've got to decide what you said, Ben, spot on. What am I actually after with the video? So if it's more, I want to generate more leads. All right, cool. You might want to create a really good business piece around your story and stuff, and you're going to do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and then have a lead form or whatever you're going to do, or more traffic to your website.
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to just do brand awareness, you might do some long form content that you can then get a content pack made.
Yeah.
And then you can then post that over a 3 or 6 month period.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get some
Slowly
viral.
build it up.
Exactly. And you can also reuse your content.
Yeah.
So if you have a viral piece of content that goes viral, you can be safe to say that if you post that same thing again 2 months later, it's generally going to have the same amount of views.
Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
You are. And we do it a bit. Like we had one video got 1 million views. I reposted it again 2 months later, got 400,000. So if you do have a viral piece of content, you can reuse it every 3 months or something like that. And it's going to work. But it's something where you've just got to create to get those viral pieces of content and awareness for you as well. But it's a great opportunity for business, especially LinkedIn and then Reels and TikTok now. TikTok I won't harp on for too much because people might think it's just a dancing app, but it's just a lot more people are coming to that platform now. It's a very addictive platform.
We've had franchise conversions through TikTok.
We've had a lot of franchises.
We had a franchisee come to training and say, I signed up because I saw you guys on TikTok.
Correct. And that was with the Jim's Mowing franchise because they sort of come in their feed and they go, oh, you know that. And it's just another place of awareness, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really easy place to get awareness if you create some good videos and you're consistent with it as well. So that's what we're doing now. We're doing this will go on TikTok and Reels and stuff like that. And hopefully one gets picked up, but we're giving ourselves a chance to be found. That's what every business should do. Okay. Yeah. So most businesses are good at, right, I need to get a website to be found, and everyone's got a website. That's fantastic. You're in Google now, people go to search, and then there's SEO to get that website hopefully ranking for more keywords. But this is something you can take into your own action, right? So it's outside the website. I can play in these platforms and make people aware that I exist by getting some video content and amplifying it to getting it to my target audience or who I want to be the potential customer.
What do you think are some of the trends, the social media trends going around at the moment? You know, what's doing really well, and how can we implement that?
Well, if you are watching this, you're probably short form video. For me, it just gives you, because the platforms, it's a new feature. They want to compete, especially with Instagram Reels. They want to compete with TikTok, so they're doing short form video as well. If you upload a reel, which is an under 60-second clip on TikTok or on Reels, depending on what it is and how well it's liked or whatever, that has a chance of going viral to reach 1 million plays. You know, like we've got that franchisee I was telling you about, 26 million plays from just a simple video. So where else can you get that awareness?
Yeah.
If I said to you, go get me 26 million plays on a video or piece of content, whatever it is, how much money would you spend on trying to do that with a paid advertising route?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're spending a lot of money. So the short video that you can then put into Instagram Reels and for TikTok, doesn't matter what your business is.
Caption videos too.
Obviously, it's got to have captions as well. 80% of video is watched without sound, so make sure you have captions on it as well. And the caption style now is what hopefully you'll see in these Reels, is those real big, bold, white captions and things like that, and with some emojis and stuff like that, which can be definitely put on. In regards to trends as well, some people, there's a lot more interactive video now. So there is software which actually allows clickable videos. So there's a software company, I think they're American, but they're in Richmond, called Voodoo. And you can basically have a video where you can actually click through the video and select different journeys. And the great thing about that is you can actually inquire directly on the video so that you know that that video is generating me an actual lead. Yeah. So a lot of the time with video content, it's very frustrating for us. We know that that person's coming from watching this piece of content.
Yeah, but you can't.
But they've inquired on the website.
Yeah.
So how do we know?
You can't link the two.
We don't really know until we ask them in training and stuff like that. And that would be with most business owners. How do we know that video actually delivered us the lead unless we survey them maybe when they come in the store or whatever it is. So there's interactive video software like Voodoo where you can create a customer journey with multiple options, and then basically they select the option on that, and then another video plays depending on the option they've done, and then they can click to actually inquire on the video itself.
It's just a nicer way of, it's a prettier version of an inquiry form pretty much.
Yeah, it's like Choose Your Journey. So those Choose Your Journey books or those video games, same thing with video, but it's very expensive still, but it's a really, really cool thing, and I can see it being the future, and as that cost comes down, it's something I would recommend businesses do as well. Trends, obviously podcast. Podcast is still very early, even though there is a lot of them. Podcast is still very early, and it's a great channel, or it's a great platform for any business, no matter what you are, to put your stamping. As I said, create that long form pillar content really easily, and then you can repurpose it for blogs for your website, all these little clips. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, because there's so many different things. Like people might go, I'm going to use the example of a mechanic.
Yeah.
A mechanic YouTube channel obviously would be very helpful, and those videos do fantastic. But a podcast where mechanics just talk about customer stories, or they talk about, what vehicles they think are the best, all that sort of stuff. You can talk about that stuff really easily, podcast it up, clip it up, really valuable information for customers.
For sure.
And if you got that in someone's news feed and they were in your area, I guarantee you they would look into your brand before going to Google online and then searching mobile mechanics. Hopefully they would go to social media, because the stat now is I think it's around 60% of people will research a brand first on social media.
Yeah.
Now that's increased a lot from, let's say, 30% a while back when they would go to Google first to search about a brand. Now they're learning about brands on social media first.
In my industry, that's very prevalent.
Absolutely.
When I'm looking at another videographer or a cinematographer or, a band, I'm not searching them on Google. I'm not searching them on YouTube. I'm going straight to their Instagram, because that's where they post the most. That's where I'm going to see their most recent work. And you can just see everything in one small spot. Whereas a website, I have to go click through all these things to find the information I want. Whereas Instagram, it's always just there.
Yeah, and also the users search now, for obviously Google's the main search engine for people, and they will go there and you're competing against others. So for example, if you're a plumber and electrician, they're very competitive, right? They've generally got really good Google Map presence, and they've got good SEO for their website. But imagine if you could take out someone having to go to search to then find out about your brand. So for example, if someone goes to Google and types in plumber near me, you're competing against all these other people, right?
People, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if they actually go there and type in a direct search for your brand name, if you're Smith and Brothers Plumbing, because they've seen a video on YouTube, on TikTok or Instagram Reels, or they've seen a Facebook ad or whatever, you're taking out the Google search and the chance of your competitors getting that lead. You're going to get it directly because they know about that you exist.
Yeah.
And having your business that people actually know you exist is probably the main thing. You've got to have awareness.
Yeah.
How do you get awareness now? You've got to create video content. You've got to then amplify that video content as well, especially if you're trying to build a brand. No one who knows who you are, you've got to then create that piece, put money towards it to get into people's face, and then people will start researching you.
And like you said, it's a seed.
It is a seed.
It's a seed. You've got to plant it. But you've got to water the seed.
It's a good point, Ben. You've got to water the seed, like this plastic plant in the middle. But you've got to water it, and you've got to be. That's where the consistency comes in, and that's where you're using some paid advertising as well to boost the occasional post that does well. Because that's the other thing we've got to talk about is the content that does well for you organically. So it's without paid advertising. It's going to generally do. That's the stuff you want to boost. Yeah. Because it's resonating with your audience. If you then pay some advertising, get some more video views on it, it's hopefully going to get a lot more and do better for you. So it's not only just post organically on your social media or on whatever channel you're using for video. If there's an option to do paid advertising, you might want to try that as well for the videos that perform well organically as well, which is a good indicator.
That's a great indicator.
Absolutely. What other trends are there, Ben? What about from video side?
You're doing me dirty here, mate. What kind of trends are you after?
What sort of style of video? Like what sort of stuff for clients that you're shooting? Is it just...
I mean, it depends what kind of clients you're after. I mean, if it's just if it's just kind of business, like brand stories and stuff like that, it's usually just going to be talking heads and B-roll. There's no fine arts.
So you've just done a shoot for LOD Workwear, which is a massive workwear provider in Melbourne. Yeah. So they used you, which is great. Yeah. You were very cheap on the thing. You charge a lot more. But what do they want? So what did they come to you with? And I know it was very...
So Shay from Lot approached me, just noted me that they'd started up done a refurb on their store in Hastings. So I have a brand new shop in Hastings that they wanted to kind of market and make people aware of. But I also said it would be a great opportunity to kind of also cover their other two stores and just any other services, because obviously I'm aware that they do lots of workwear, but not everyone's aware that they're also Lot Promotions. So I said maybe we should do some content to cover that and get some visuals of this happening. So I went out to all three stores. I did an interview with Liam, the owner. We got a great interview, and we pretty much covered everything that they do. So we'll then from those 3 days cover their brand story, and then we'll do 3 separate videos based on each store, what they provide, what maybe customers don't know they provide, customers that didn't know that they could be their customers. Like I didn't know that they did professional workwear for business people. They do scrubs for nurses. So just covering like things that customers aren't necessarily aware of, And I didn't know that they do probably 9,000 pieces a week of embroidered clothing. They have like massive embroidery machines in Braeside. So yeah, just highlighting things that maybe aren't so apparent on the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. So then documenting all that, and then stats like that's very interesting, right? So we create 9,000. So you're saying, all right, we can do scale. So if you're a large organisation, we've got the capacity to do it. Showing people how you can do it. But the one thing you said then was, I didn't know they did this, right? So you didn't know that. So you're going to create content around that, especially if the nurses one, for example. So you can create a piece directed at nurses. You can target people who work in health profession, nursing on Facebook, for example, or other things on LinkedIn. You can put some video content out there with some paid ads.
Yeah.
Then you can get that awareness instead of having to pump a lot more money into Google ads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's very competitive and things like that, especially in promotions and workwear. So it's another way of getting to those people with some targeted video.
Yeah, and I think they were also mentioning how like Braeside, they don't have a lot of retail customers. That's where their head office is based, and everyone thinks that's where the warehouse is. But they actually have a massive store there. So we wanted to create content that specifically promotes that, hey, we do retail here, and then we're gonna push those 3 separate store videos and market it to people in that area.
Well, definitely be based on geography, especially with Facebook. Everyone know you can target suburbs and specific areas, and that's what they will do with that video and have targeted messaging. We are open in Braeside, and obviously Braeside and surrounding suburbs. Show it to those people in those news feeds as well, and then obviously have the paid advertising strategy with Google Ads and all that sort of stuff complementing it.
And again, the brand piece will go on the website, and it will be probably in the About Us section. I'm not sure where we plan to put it yet, but at the moment, their website is very much just apparel and shots of the store, but we don't really know much about who runs it, what they're about, so bringing that personal element in to, again, make customers feel more at ease, like they know the brand.
Yeah, it's adding that extra level of trust, and obviously, you can put a face to the brand and all that sort of stuff, and hear more about Liam's story, and obviously see just how big of an operation they have and how you can see that they're going to get whatever you need done. They're going to get it done for you, not a problem.
Yeah. So what do you reckon businesses need video for, Joel?
Well, most of the world's internet traffic is video. So I think it's like more than 80% of the world's internet traffic is video. Everyone would know who's watching this for themselves, how much you consume on YouTube, whether it be streaming devices, whether it be social media. There's just video everywhere. And it's such an advantage over written content's obviously there for search engines. For Google SEO, you need to have written content. But video, I can see, you can hear us, you can see us. You might like us, you might hate us, whatever, based on what you're seeing or hearing. But you can know pretty quickly what do I like about this business owner, what do I like about this product or service that they're offering. And the possibilities are endless with it as well. You can create so much more stuff now than what you used to, not just with really good cameras like we've got here. You can do it with the phone, which we've got recording over here. There are so many different things, and it's just because we hear people, we connect with people by hearing and seeing it. It's just essential now for business, and if you don't do it for your business, your competitors are doing it. So you've just got to get on that front foot and make sure you're doing it. And then the next step to creating video is to create it regularly, and you want to be consistent with your video creation. So for us, you might want to do a content pack with us every 6 months or every 3 months, where you're paying an affordable amount of money, but you're creating video assets that are new and fresh, and that are keeping your audience engaged, and then hopefully leading to more sales and more inquiries through the door. Or just general opportunities as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think also video in general is you can convey a lot more information in a shorter period of time than a photo. If I had a photo with a bit of text and a massive wall of text, I'm gonna be less inclined to read that. Whereas in the space of me starting this sentence, I've already conveyed more info than that post would have. So I think it's just an effective way, an efficient way of being in front of your customers. Because people's attention spans are so low these days. So short form content, quick, short, to the point.
You're like 8 seconds or something now to grab someone's attention. So another thing we should have said is that that video, you might do a 3-minute brand piece video, but what's the most engaging piece of that video? Put that at the front. And then you start your video after the first 7 to 8 seconds, and hopefully you've put them in. So it's just something that it's just people can see. We're visual, we're time poor. I can click through it and hear it. So you've got to make sure that you've got some sort of video content for your business. It doesn't matter what it is. You've just got to have something. So we try and make the process as easy as possible. As I said, we've worked with a lot of time-poor franchisees and gone out on the road with them in the field to make it easy to do that sort of vlog-style content. But that's good because it's real and it's raw. People know that it's not put on. There's nothing being put on. There's no overproduction or scripted BS about being a franchisee or seeing what goes on at a customer's job.
Yep.
They can see and make their own mind up as well. But you've just got to have some sort of video content for your business. Regularly created it would be better. If possible. Because it can get stale very quickly as well with camera productions. We know from 2019 to now in terms of how the different quality of the video looks, right? When we started, it was very... Go back to our stuff in 2019, it just looks completely different from then until now as cameras keep getting better and there's 4K and all that sort of stuff. So as a videographer, Ben, and an editor, how can people shoot more video or shoot better video if they want to do it themselves?
So it's kind of funny in a way. You know, I'm going to talk about audio instead of video, but you know, you can have a pretty video, right? But if it sounds horrible, people are turned off immediately. So if people want to do better videos, first thing they should be thinking about is audio and microphone. If your audio's like muffly and it's too far away or it's too windy, you need to think of audio solutions, whether that's a lav mic, a handheld mic. They need to get better microphones, even if it's just plugged into their phone. Secondly, lighting is also very important. So, you know, lighting themselves up so they can see you clearly adds a level of professionalism than some bloke who's just, you know, going around. Vlog style videos obviously have their place, but if they're just doing simple podcast stuff like this, audio and lighting so they can see you clearly is key. And just, you know, be yourself. Yeah. Don't be robotic.
Now let's go on to that. So be yourself. Everyone says, "Oh, just be yourself." It's easy to be yourself, right? And you know, when your mum, when you go on your first date or something, she says, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" And they go, "Oh, just be yourself." What does that mean, right?
Yeah.
So what does be yourself mean?
Well, you know, I come into it all the time. You know, like people, you know, I have a group of friends and they have their own page and I say, "Oh, we should do this. We should post that. You know, we should do this." And you're like, "Nah, it's cringy. It's lame. People are going to think it sucks." But at the end of the day, you know, if you're out there having a crack and you're doing something that's fun and you're being yourself, you know, who cares if, you know, 10 blokes if they're going to think it's lame. I guarantee you there'll be 100 other people that are interested and it just leads to more people finding your page. You have to get out of that mindset of being scared that someone's going to judge you, because at the end of the day, people are going to judge you no matter what. If you don't know those people, what's it to you? So not necessarily, you know, video advice, but, you know, just be out there, do it. Just, you know, be yourself and back yourself. And if you're confident and consistent and keep doing it, your audience will grow because they like you. There might be people that don't like you, but they don't have to like you and they won't follow your page. But you're growing another audience over here.
But also create content that's going to work for you. So if you're someone who might be a bit more nervous, you're not going to stand down the barrel of a camera and read a teleprompter.
Of course not.
If you want that style of video, you want to find someone else in your business to do it, or you might want to get an actor or whoever. But if you're someone
it's just content that's true to yourself, though. But also just, don't be scared because of what other people think. And if you're scared that if you're scared of talking on camera, get someone else to it.
But also practice as well, because there is that weird little feeling. We know from I know from doing it with people, and you talk off camera and they're fantastic, and you go just say that on camera.
Yeah.
You put the camera on and they just freeze.
Stiffen up. Yeah.
You know, we've had people come and do interviews where I've given them the questions prior, which we'd always do.
Yeah.
But I'll come back with like a 20-page answers to all the questions, and then when you start filming them, they don't say any of it. Or they try and start reading off it and it just doesn't look good, right?
Yeah.
So the process for that is obviously it's a mental thing, but it's also liking who you work with.
Yeah.
So if you know the people who you're working with and you can have a bit of banter before and a bit of a chat and you make them feel comfortable, it's going to give you a better result. Whereas if you put all this pressure on someone where it's a massive set, there's 10 people there or 5 people that I know, and they've got microphones in their face and you expect them to do good from the first go, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to also decide on the content you want to do. If you're someone who's a bit more maybe introverted and laid back, maybe doing a podcast style talking head thing off center a bit will work better for you. Whereas if you're a lot more salesy and a lot more confident, you could do the straight barrel, down the gun, first cuff, and you can be a star. And we've seen people who've done that, and we've seen people who do the other thing with podcasts as well. Just a matter of creating a video style or set.
And it doesn't always have to be talking, you know?
No.
Like, you know, like I said, be yourself. Like it could be just, you know, say if you're, you know, like a tradie or a landscaper or something, you know, like a Jim's mowing. It can just be you doing your job, showing tips and tricks, you know, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because that's not hard to do.
No, well, some of the successful stuff, most successful accounts are our industry accounts for it, might be mowing, pool care, fencing, whatever, or
Yeah.
cleaning as well. And they literally just film themselves out on the job and then voice over it afterwards, never showing their face on
Yep.
it as well. And that can be all done via a phone. It can be done, professionally as well if you want to do it,
Yeah.
but you can also do it on the phone. And it's very, really popular because you're giving people a direct view at the job, and that's exactly what it's
showing
like.
them what you do,
And
showing them you do a great job.
Exactly.
There's no better proof to use their services than what you're seeing there. So,
and in your videos as well, you've always got to be thinking, what value can I provide in the video?
yeah.
So, you want to almost give away everything you know, and then you're going to get, and people will go, well, why would I want to tell everyone my secrets? But you're going to get people.
People are time poor and lazy.
Yeah, so we get all the time, whereas you create content like, how to do an edge properly, and you get some people go, why do I want to show someone how to do an edge? I want them to use me to do it.
They're not going to do it anyway.
People are time poor, and they're not gonna. There might be a small percentage of people who go and try it themselves, but they're gonna watch it. Oh, cool. Got Jim's mowing or whatever it is in the head now.
Yeah.
I'm going to use them, but there might be something they're just interested in watching in general. Like you see some of the big lawn care vlogs in America have got like 400,000, 500,000 video views, and it's a guy shoving a GoPro in his head on a ride-on, just talking about his day for an hour.
Yeah.
And and people watch it, and people go, "Why? Who would want to watch it?" But there's an audience for everyone.
It's a niche for everything.
There's an audience for any business you are. You might go, "Well, I'm a florist or whatever." Like, there's so many opportunities for every business, no matter what service you are, no matter how boring you are. You could be an accountant, but there's so much good advice you can provide people as an accountant with TikTok, for example, or Reels. You could just answer little quick questions easily.
And that just plays back to my point. You should never be in that mentality of who would want to watch my videos. Why would someone watch these videos? I think TikTok's proved, if anything, that there is a niche for everything.
Oh, there is.
You can do the strangest thing that you'd think would no one watch, millions of views.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're in. If you're bookkeeper, accountant, lawyer, whatever, you've got valuable content and expertise which you can then provide for free to everyone. And then, then hopefully they're going to come and use your business.
Yeah.
I've seen short form video being really powerful for some people in the accounting industry. So accounting industry, there's so much good advice you can provide for free. And people might go, well, yeah, why should I pay? I want them to use me, but they've got to know you exist.
Yeah.
So if they can see that video in their feed that you're telling them about, how to crypto gains at tax time, right, for all the crypto bros. But that's useful information, and you might get a new customer from that. Where if you didn't do anything or didn't put any video out, how are they going to know you exist?
Exactly. I think it's just a case of just doing and being in the space. There's it's better than having a low chance of being seen than no chance of being seen.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what your business is. So you can do video content for any type of business. What business couldn't you do it for, Ben? What do you reckon? I'm trying to think. What couldn't you do it for?
Being a hitman.
There's no hitman. Which one?
Being a hitman.
Being a hitman. Yeah, you probably don't want to publicise that too much, but you can do it for any business, and no matter what you're in, you might think it's boring. Other people don't.
Yeah.
So and that's just evident by accounts where you see they've got 200,000 people following them. It just might be, let's say, as I said, I'll use that pool care guy again, just doing pool care advice.
Yeah.
People just watch it.
It's like Jake's workplace, like my bricks.
Yeah, well, that's an example. So a former colleague works at Lego lighting bricks, and who would have known about Lego lighting bricks? But people like watching their content.
They've got quite a following. Absolutely.
Now let's talk about outsourcing or outsourcing your video or doing it in-house. So obviously we've worked on being an in-house video team.
Yeah.
But obviously we're an outside video team now.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about the differences in terms of the pros and the cons that you think?
For just if a business was thinking about outsourcing videos compared to in-house, well, obviously in-house has its pros because you just pay people on a salary. You have, your 40 hours a week access to them, and you kind of, you get a lot more hands-on with, what you do. But obviously with that comes, you got to pay a yearly salary. You have to, pretty much provide all the gear. You have, a lot of overheads and, stuff that you have to think of that you control. Whereas, they need management. So they need someone to take care of the team and make sure everything's moving smoothly and that things are getting done. Whereas outsourcing may cost a little bit more at the get-go, but that end-to-end product and that end-to-end process is going to be smoother. Now, an outsourced team can come in and we'll understand what kind of video you want. We'll sit down and have that conversation with you. We'll figure out how we approach it, what we do, and then we'll do the video, and then that's that. And, there's less headaches for a business.
And there could be, but it could also be cheaper. So if you're doing a regular content pack, like every 3 months, you might want to do $5,000 content pack, and out of that $5,000, you might get, 20 videos or a lot of short form, some long form. You do that, let's say over the course of the year, you've built yourself a content library and it's cost you maybe $20,000.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to some other production companies, you might pay $10,000 for one really, really good video.
Yeah.
But you can't get any mileage out of it.
Yeah.
Or that's depending on, you might use it as a TV commercial or whatever. Whereas if you do stuff like us, we can create this online video content packs and come in every 3 months, every 6 months, or however often you need it. And just keep giving you a fresh content library that you can then use to promote with your marketing team or whoever's doing your advertising, because they're always going to go to you as well. You got to remember, if you're using a marketing company, we need content, and just doing stock standard photos from something like Canva or Photoshop, it's not really appealing.
It doesn't really cut it.
No, and it makes their job harder as well.
It doesn't do well on Instagram either.
It doesn't.
People just see through it straight away.
But it makes your marketer's job harder as well. So if you have some good creative assets, especially being video, your marketing companies will become hopefully more effective and actually have a lower cost for you, hopefully, or you might be able to get more leads because you've got some engaging creative content to give to them.
Yeah.
And a marketing company as well is not the best person to create the video stuff as well. So a lot of
they're marketing specialists.
Yeah, they are. A lot of social media stuff and a lot of companies like that will have a video or photography team, whereas they might not be dedicated fully to that. Whereas with us, we're fully dedicated to that, but we've got the benefit that we do know how to push it as well. If you do want to have that paid advertising service as well, we can do that. But we're going to create the video first and have the strategies on how you can then amplify it for maximise reach. Whereas, with a lot of other companies, they might have an in-house video person or photographer, but they just don't have the resources, or they're not doing it all the time. They might be doing other things.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that's where the benefit for us is that, we can create engaging quality videos. You're great at producing videos on the day, being on set, but then you also have that knowledge on how to push it afterwards, and you can kind of consult with the clients on the best foot forward to promote and push that content.
I think for us as well, because of where we've come from with customer service being the number one thing with gyms, and everyone says that, but we know we've definitely seen how everything's handled. For those who don't know, Jim actually handles every complaint personally still as well. If it gets to him, he handles it personally. So we know firsthand about complaints in regards to customers. So for us, what we're big on is we want the job to be right, and we almost, it's a guarantee. If you're not happy, we're not happy. We'll keep going and editing it until you're happy with it. So it's not just, pay this money, we're going to deliver on this, and we've got a promise to deliver on this, and then you're not happy with it, and then sorry, we're going to make sure we get back to you, we deliver the product that you want. Yeah,
I think that's one of the gym's ethoses that's been drilled into us is you want 100% customer satisfaction.
Absolutely, and hearing this stuff, for more than 10 years about customer service for me, it's sort of second nature now, where I've just got that in, we've got that in us now, because we know that's the most important thing, and people say they're great customer service, but can you actually show you are? So we hope that if people engage us, we can do all that sort of stuff. Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about Google and video. How does having a video help increase your chances of being discovered on Google? So people will notice now, it hasn't always been this way, but if you go to Google and type in a search term, let's say, how to know if my car battery's flat, you obviously have articles that appear there. You'll have some AdWords because someone's targeting that search term, but you also will have a video most of the time now. So a video showing you how to actually do that thing, because Google's saying, well, this is the most helpful thing for you to solve that query. So a lot of businesses, you can give yourself a chance of having that. It's really valuable to have that. A lot of those videos will get millions of views sometimes, or hundreds of thousands, depending on how much that problem is generally is searched for. Yeah. So you can create a video for your business answering a whole heap of questions from search queries. You can basically use a tool like Answer the Public and type in your business, if it's, let's say, lawn care. You can find out all these questions on what people are typing into Google, like how to grow a veggie garden, how to my lawn's dead, how to revive a lawn. And you can create a whole bunch of video content for that, and then upload it to YouTube. And then hopefully, if the video is really good and over time, that when people search, let's say, how to bring my lawn back to life, your video could appear in that first thing they see. Yeah. And how that's so valuable to a business if you can get that in there. It's feature snippet video. Yeah. It's not easy to get. It's very hard. But that's the content. If you are a business, you can start creating that. Let's go, what are people typing in relation to our industry into Google?
Yeah.
Like how to this or what about this, etc.
Yeah, so understanding issues that, you know, potential,
issues, yeah.
your potential client or customer base faces, and then figuring out how to place it, how to solve that problem for them, and that increases discoverability.
Yeah, exactly right. Creating a video and then obviously giving another chance to be found in Google in conjunction with your paid ads, your Google My Business, your organic search result, and hopefully a video if that happens. And with gyms, I know that works because if people type in direct search queries for gyms now and stuff, videos appear in the search results.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic for us because if they're investigating being a franchisee, I'd rather them watch a video than go to a website where it's just pre-written content that's not overly exciting. I'd rather than watching a video about being a franchisee.
Yeah.
It's just better for us. So that's something that that a lot of businesses don't think about now. But that's another reason why I'm doing video. Hopefully you can get into the search results. Now, the other one there is I don't want to do video. I'm not really confident. I'm not really a great speaker.
Yeah.
So
okay.
This is something we get told a bit about. And that's why, I think you've got to make sure that the piece you're shooting suits your personality type. If you're not someone who's a big salesy person, there's no point putting you in front of a green screen with a teleprompter or just straight down to the camera. You might get completely nervous. It's going to be a bad result.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're a bit more laid back, you might want to do stuff where you're sitting down and maybe a talking head with the camera's not in your face, it's on the side, and there's another camera going from this angle, and you're just having a chat to the person across from the chair from you, which is what I did a lot, and I found that worked a lot well for us.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are a real confident person, it means maybe, you can talk way more directly at the camera.
Yeah.
We can do maybe a bit more outrageous things or a bit more salesy things, and that's going to suit your personality style. So it's not about being more confident on video. I think it's about more tailoring the content to your personality type.
Sure.
And then the more you do it, if you're, let's say, more introverted, you might get better and better and better, and then you can change the content type to then do more, let's say, salesy or more stuff that might be a bit more intimidating with a big set and the camera in your face and things like that.
And, it doesn't always have to be, if you're camera shy too, it doesn't always have to be you on camera. If you have someone else in your business who you know is a great speaker that you think is a good representative of your brand, you can also utilize them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't have to be just one.
Yeah, if someone with a good personality in your business who you think can be a good representative for your business and talk about things that need to be spoken about, absolutely put them on it. But I always encourage the founders to do content because, having a personal brand and a founder story is just such a good, unique selling point to the actual brand itself.
Totally.
And everyone's got a good story to sell. So, you want to be confident enough to share that story, and it will help your brand directly and indirectly in the long term. And we know that from the work that we've done.
Agreed. I think, the amount of times people always want to hear Jim's story, is pretty amazing. How'd you get started? Were you always mowing lawns? It's just, everyone loves that story. Yeah,
but that's why, if you're doing training seminars or you're doing lectures, you should always have them filmed because it's such an easy form of pillar content to grab. We, in training, we film that 2-hour ethos session and I take a clip out of it which could get 20,000 views, which is a 40-second thing. It's really easy for me to do. Yeah. But you just got to make sure you film it. So, if you're a coach or an entrepreneur as well, your lectures, filming your talks, your client calls, everything, because then you can take that footage, have it chopped up by whoever, and then you can then push it out there. But let's now talk about repurposing. So it's not just we need to come out and shoot stuff with people. We can obviously repurpose their content as well. So if there's someone who can shoot something on a phone or they can set up a camera for themselves but they can't be stuffed editing it, that's something they can do. They can send it to us. We can do a content pack for them as well. Yeah, we're definitely happy to edit people's content. I in the past have done that for plenty of people where they're not tech savvy enough to, obviously edit the thing, but also don't understand what works on social media. So I think with our minds together, if we have all this raw data sent to us, we know the best way to put that content forward to market it and get the best for your business. Absolutely. Obviously, we've been discussing a lot of, external marketing material kind of videos. What other types of videos can we do on the internal side of things? Yeah, well, internal communications, stock standard things. If you've worked in a big company, it might be just a group email or there's a newsletter or whatever it is. But it's a really good opportunity to build relationships within the business by using video, whether it be interviewing staff or doing like a staff profile piece and emailing that out. I don't know how big the organisation would be, but it just adds an extra nice little level and touch as well. And obviously with the job market being so competitive now as well, having videos about your internal, for recruiting is very important. Like a profile piece for why should someone work here. Now it's very hard now for people to get good staff. So how can we make this place exciting we want to be the go-to place for applicants? Can we use video to do that? Can we show our benefits of working for here? Why should you work here? All that sort of stuff.
Another thing we did a lot at gyms was training videos. So another internal type of video that we can do.
Well, training videos are a no-brainer. If you're a business, you need training videos. Ben, you did a lot of them for building inspections for gyms, hazardous material and stuff, and
test and tag.
We've done a lot of training videos, and it's a really easy way to obviously get your staff trained up on whatever you need, and we've got experience in that, and we try and make it a really easy process for us. Depending on how scripted you want, some businesses might need a really, really scripted one because there's certain things legally they have to say. Whereas if you're, let's say, the gyms test and tag, for example. We had experts of what they did. We knew they knew what to do and basically just filmed them talking about the process. They didn't really need a script. They were experts in what they do and it worked for them. Whereas some other organisations, which you've done a bit for, Ben, basically you might have a talking head where you have to have some on-screen graphics and instructions and all that sort of stuff as well, which we can do.
On top of internal for corporates, we can also do lots of actual corporate, videos. We've done so much talking heads over the past 2 years.
But you don't need a studio as well for that. You don't have to go to a studio to do a corporate video. I reckon it's way better to go to the business because you want to see the action there. It could be a little bit disruptive for the day depending on how busy you are, but I think having a shot at your business is really important. Some people want to go to a studio and that's fine. But I think going into the business...
Showing the workplace.
And we've worked with a lot of workplaces which are very busy and especially out on the road where there's a bit of danger, so it's not a problem for us. But going into a workplace is definitely always shooting on location is definitely desirable for anyone.
It's more authentic, It's, no one wants to see someone talking on a green screen, It feels out of place, They should be in there. If they're talking about their workplace, why not film them in their workplace?
That's right.
Makes sense.
And also another one for us is NGOs or charities. So we've done, obviously with my podcast, you do a bit of stuff, which is a mental health podcast. So that's a really good one for us to do as well because we obviously do it for our own stuff. But, if you're a charity or an NGO, you need those stories to be told to hopefully get some more funding towards you. And video is definitely the best way to do it. Podcasts, we're seeing a lot more podcasts as well with charities and NGOs now just sharing stories. I do this for me. I'm not a charity, but my own mental health podcast, The Lived Experience, it's about sharing stories with people and that's all with video and audio as well. So that's something that we can do. So guys, hopefully if you've watched this to the end, thank you, you got a little bit out of it. We want to practice what we preach. So we preach about creating video content for businesses and it's something that you'll find a lot of marketing companies and video production companies actually don't do for themselves. They're so busy creating video for other people, they don't create it for themselves. So I thought it was important for us to actually practice what we preach from the start and create that pillar content that will be used for various clips that we're going to use now on LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. What else have I missed? I've missed Snapchat, but we don't have a Snapchat. But then we'll put that on these platforms and hopefully start building the brand and get some sales from that as well. If you do want a quote or anything like that, you can just look at the details on the screen. But hendrixmedia.com.au has our number there, or chuck us an email to hello@hendrixmedia.com.au. But make sure you check out our website, hendrixmedia.com.au. We've got a lot of our video and things like that, and make sure you follow us on social media as well.
Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.